Once again, Barcelona have done it as they've broken yet another historic streak with the 3-0 loss suffered at the Camp Nou on Tuesday night. Barca have now failed to win their opening group fixture in the Champions League for the first time since the 1997-98 campaign. Hello everyone and welcome to Blaugrana Everything and welcome back to the channel, and this is my match review taking a look at how FC Barcelona continued with their terrible run in the Champions League as they have now lost 3 consecutive home games, those losses coming against Juventus, Paris Saint-Germain and now Bayern Munich. They have conceded 10 goals in the process and have only managed to score a grand total of 1 solitary goal. That too came from the penalty spot. Anyway, it's not like I was expecting a different result on the night. I did predict a Bayern win in my preview, but I just wasn't expecting Barca to be so dismal that they would fail to even register 1 shot on target, or that Bayern's defensive frailties would go unexposed and completely untested. But I digress. This is a match review and not a rant, and as such, I shall first talk about the tactical setup from both teams, for then briefly talking about the team performance, and I'm talking very briefly. I will then talk about the negatives and positives from the game before picking my man of the match. No prizes for guessing who it was. So let's go ahead and talk about the tactical setup from both teams. Koeman decided to set his side up like I had guessed he would in the preview. The only difference was, and it came as a surprise, Eric Garcia starting ahead of Longley as Koeman sought safety in the arms of his darling 3-5-2 formation. The team selection on the night I found to be a bit questionable, but we'll get to that later. This is how Barcelona set up. Bayern meanwhile set up in a 4-2-3-1 as we had expected, but with Musiala and Sula starting ahead of Gnabry and Hernandez. With that out of the way, let's get into the team performance. Barcelona were really unimaginative and uninspiring on the night. They started the game looking solid, looking bright actually, purposeful for a bit. There was one cross that Jordi Alba actually managed to put in that found Sergio Roberto, so he blazed it short wide. But eventually, Bayern took over the game, and once they did, they scored 3 times whilst barely, and I mean barely, getting out of third gear. And the front 2 of De Jong and Depay had 0 service, and so Barcelona sucked immensely. The end. Not like for real. Let's now talk about negatives and positives. I will of course start with the negatives. My first negative was Koeman's setup and selection. Garcia and Luke De Jong shouldn't have started. Yes, you don't really have much other forwards apart from Luke De Jong, I get that, but really he just looked out of sync with everyone, including his own legs, because he could barely run to reach a ball. Garcia, on the other hand, I believe he is a bright prospect and he can grow to be a very useful player for Barcelona, but considering how his last outing went and how he probably wasn't coming into this game on a high of confidence or with good momentum, I think Mingueza would have been the better pick to start here, and maybe Eric Garcia coming on later on as a sub. But hey, we're still going to lose anyway, so doesn't matter, right? As for Luke De Jong, he offered nothing on and off the ball, and he was really a passenger for the entire time on the pitch. And I think it's rather telling that Barcelona played better with the change to a 4-3-3 than they did in the 3-5-2, which was, to be honest, the 5-3-2. But anyway, back to some of the selections. Sergio Roberto has to be mentioned. My last match review, I took some time out to praise Roberto for his recent improved performances. Well, he was terrible on Tuesday night, but I believe that was through no fault of his own. His improved performances have come with him playing a box-to-box kind of role in a midfield 3. On Tuesday night, he was shoehorned in at right wing back, and like you would expect, it was a pure disaster. He was booed when he was subbed off, which is sad because I don't think that those boos should have been aimed at Sergio Roberto. But you know, the crowd did what it had to do. My next negative was defensive errors. It's shocking to think that all 3 of Bayern's goals were actually as a result of needlessly giving away possession and tragic defending rather than attacking brilliantly. According to the statisticians, our midfield gave the ball away 18 times. Against Bayern Munich, that is suicidal. You just do not do that. So much like Ronaldo and Mbappe before him, Lewandowski really had easy work. Like, he barely had to work for the goals that he scored. He was probably just maybe inconvenienced by Araujo getting in his way every now and then. He scored on Tuesday night, and that owed heavily to some poor defending and also a lack of alertness in some key moments from our players. But of course, that's not taking away from the fact that Lewandowski is the best number 9 in the game right now. My last negative is the continued dismal displays against top-class opposition under Ronald Koeman. We have played 2 games against Real Madrid, both of which were lost. 2 against Paris Saint-Germain, one of which was lost, one of which was a draw. 2 against Juventus, one of which we won, the other one we lost. 2 as well against Atletico Madrid, one being a loss, the other one being a draw. And right now we've played only 1 against Bayern, which was also a loss. And from those 9 games, we've only had 1 win and we've had 6 losses, and 4 of those losses. So Barcelona concede 3 or more unanswered goals at home. At home. That just cannot keep going on, guys. And I think, anyway, let me just real quick talk my one positive from the performance, and that was the showing from the youngsters and also from Karl-Heinz Ter Stegen. Ter Stegen, I really felt, could do nothing about all 3 of the goals that he conceded. You could have put any other goalkeeper, no matter how good they are, in that exact type of situation, and they're not going to prevent those goals, honestly speaking. He did as well pull off some spectacular saves on Leroy Sané to keep Barcelona in the game, and had Barcelona actually had the plan going forward, they could have maybe fluked a draw or something like that. As for the youngsters, the introduction of Gavi, Demir and Balde actually sparked Barca into life, and they looked like they were still willing to fight, as they actually avoided a habit that they have done in the past of hanging their heads and tucking their tails in between their legs. And also probably here I should give kudos to the old heads like PK and Alba, who they really did give their all here. Their limitations showed. I should also give a shout out to Ronald Araujo, who was solid despite all the chaos around him. He was getting last-ditch blocks in on Lewandowski, shutting down Sané on 1v1s, and on a different day he could have actually scored because he had probably the best opportunity for Barcelona to score. Alrighty then, the only thing that is left is to pick my man of the match, and I decided to go with none other than Lewandowski. Obvious choice on the night, really. No one really stood out as being unplayable or spectacularly brilliant for Bayern on the night. It wasn't like the same type of performance as the 8-2 from Bayern. It was more of a controlled approach that they took to this game, and they took advantage of a lot of the lapses from Barca to score, and none, I think, was more on point for them than Robert Lewandowski. That does it for my match review. What are your thoughts on the game and the performance of the team? Who was your man of the match? And going forward, what do you see from this team in this competition? Will things be better once Aguero, Fati and Dembele return? Thank you once again for tuning in, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Blaugrana Everything for more content. Have a great day, and Forza Barca.